is she doing? Just sitting there? Oh, how dreadful. I heard you rang the bell. Let's get into it. He met his wife 10 years ago and married for 2. When they first met, she would let him do anything in bed. He used to text her at 2 a.m. and without hesitation, she was turning over, letting that thing happen, right? Then, when they got married, he heard the stories of, people losing their desire in long distance, but never thought it would happen to him. Well, he tripled his income, lost 30 pounds. He looks way better than when he first met his wife, and they don't even have kids. Now they have sex twice a month. Now they have sex twice in a whole month, a whole 30, sometimes 31 days.
I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon.
The 30 days past September, April, June, and November, okay? All the rest have 31. Except February, which has 28. Y'all know it, okay? And then when they do it, the only twice within the month, so only 24 times within the year, because I can calculate that quick, she says no handcuffs, no blindfold, no 69, no oral, no, etc. Baby, you having bad sex. Like, what is she doing? Is she just laying there? Do y'all, you know what? But on, what's the show? Love and Marriage Hospital, they went to a sex therapist. Maybe that's what y'all need to do, a sex therapist. And that can help. But I feel bad for him. That's sad. Okay, keep it moving. Oh. All right. When we met, he used to have, I'm not going to say what he said, but he used to pleasure her 20 minutes straight. Good job. So you better be a husband. 20 minutes straight with multiple O's. Okay, because my page ain't just for adults, so I know sometimes the kids may come visit, okay? Now today, she doesn't even like to be pleasured. She don't even like that. What is this on? Is she interested in something else that you can't give her? Maybe some other? That's the question. He's been doing this to her for 8 years. When he tries to even rub on her, she swats his hand away, like a little boy reaching for a cookie jar. He works 5 days a week and stays in shape to keep her sexually attracted to him. The second year of marriage has been the worst years in sex. He said he remembers she used to cry if he didn't have sex with her when they first met. Now he said if I would have known would have gotten this to this place, he would have never married her. Now that's real. So let's pause there. When you guys are courting or in the fiance or like premarital counseling, even women who have a good sex drive, right? Whatever we want to say is good. I think you need to have a question of how much sex do you need? I know some great relationships that have like certain rules. We're not gonna go 2 days without it. We're not gonna go 24. We're not, some type of thing that y'all honor within yourself, that you keep that commitment. But I think you gotta have a true and healthy conversation about what you want. Like with that, that's what I would recommend like happening. I wonder if they did it. If they did do it, this is a little fraud. This is very fraudulent. You can't go back on, your agreements where you say you're going to bust it wide open and tell them bring it back, and now you ain't even busting it wide open. So anyway, he said he thought this would never happen to him, but it did. Marriage is an end goal for women, but they will never admit this because if they did, then most men wouldn't even get married. Oh, okay. He's saying like that's it. Once you get married, you've accomplished and there's nothing else. Like, I guess his perspective. And if you're watching and this was your question, help me if I'm wrong. Are you saying that when women say marriage is their end goal, like that once they reach that, that's it for them? Like they don't have to continue to do certain things, that's it? I understand that perspective. Like if you feel there's no more work that way, that's a problem. Marriage invokes another type of work, an additional type of work that you don't do when you're courting anymore. It actually should invoke more work. I mean, if you don't have that understanding or concept, you aren't ready to be married and to embark on that journey, because it's a continual learning process and continual work, because we're changing every day. So some of the things, yes, that we wanted or desired when we were courting, we may not want or desire during the course of our years, hopefully until death do us part of marriage, right? So we have to have those check-ins of what am I meeting your needs now? What do you need now in this space? Like all of those things, those healthy dialogues have to continue to happen. But I also have heard from some men that women will stop doing those things that you were doing prior to. Why? Because this is the time to my head to do it all, right? Like, all right, I think I might say this. This is his words. Even though he's eating her out and giving her rim jobs for nearly a decade. What are rim jobs? What? So he basically licked her from the rooter to the tutor, is what he's saying. Now he can't get anything in return. And last week he tried to have sex and it started with oral, but she pushed him back. And he did the missionary starfish sex. Missionary starfish. Okay, got it. After that, she slept in another room.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Dang, sis. Now, sis, you can't go to another room after he done tried. You done told him no, then he didn't settle with, okay, let me do my starfish. Now you gotta go to another room. There's a disconnect here mentally. Just speaking from a woman's point of view, there's a disconnect mentally and emotionally. And I think, and I know you didn't put that in here, but I'm telling you, as a woman, someone that can do, like, that's at that space that they're doing that, they're not even, she's disconnected in some way. And the only way you're going to get, which you got to look at your end result. Your end result you want, or end result or goal that you want, is to get your sex life back, right? And you want her to be enjoying it, enjoyable, back to where you are. You got to figure out the disconnect with her mentally and emotionally and connect there. And that likely will probably get you to that space. Because sometimes when that shut down, we shut down completely. And it's like a chore at that point. Because it's like, okay, I know they said we gotta do it or else, or, you know, if you ain't doing it, then somebody else will, right? We hear all those little things that y'all just said all throughout my comments. I heard you, right? And we've heard it in life, right? And so I think sometimes women will just go with the flow because they know, okay, this is my responsibility, but I ain't here. I ain't with it. I'm not feeling it, but I'm going to let you do it. And you want to continue to have, in my perspective, that bad sex, that's whack sex, then you're going to continue to keep trying to push her in a physical way, and when you haven't touched her mentally or emotionally. So you got to connect there. But let's see what else happens. He said she goes to another room and he's thinking about leaving her. He said it hurt. And I understand that is hurtful. He says the sex is completely different and they don't have kids. So it's not like a wow or, you know, somebody, they got to, you know, worry about somebody walking in. I think that's what he keeps saying. Like, they don't have kids, so they don't have that disturbance. He says it sucks leaving someone you were with for a decade, but marriage kills a woman's desire. That you can't talk in absolute, because that's not fair. Right? Just like women, we can't talk in absolutes about men. It doesn't kill a woman's desire completely, right? It doesn't kill every woman's desire. There is, in this situation, I think that you really, like, you sit down and talk to her, there's a mental or emotional disconnect that she's having. But basically, he wants to know, can he legally cite an inability to consummate the marriage as a reason for divorce? Well, she has consummated the marriage. Consummating the marriage means you've had sex after you said, I do. So you've consummated the marriage. And there's no longer usually all this fault-based divorce. So when people say, can I bring up a reason of adultery, mental cruelty, abuse, some of those things, you don't have to bring up those reasons anymore. You could just cite irreconcilable differences that's caused an irretrievable breakdown of your marriage. But I do suggest in your situation, I think that there's some other attempts that you can make before and hopefully you don't reach that, because divorce is not the goal. And you said it yourself. It hurts. You've been with her for 10 years. So try and see what the disconnect is mentally and emotionally. If you have talked to her about it and you're not getting anywhere, I would say try to get a third party involved, a therapist, to see how that dialogue can happen. And you can have a safe dialogue to let her know your feelings and importance on how sex is for you in your marriage, and that if this continues, unfortunately, it sounds like this is a deal breaker for you. I would suggest moving to that step before you even consider filing. I think there's still some work here in this case, but to answer your legal question, you know, just have to have irreconcilable differences and not be living as husband and wife for a period of 6 months or more in Illinois. That would meet that. And that means even if you're living together in the same house, if you're not operating, meaning obviously you're not having sex, right, for 6 months or more, then you meet that requirement. But I hope for you that you guys can really sit down and work this out.